In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a social work supervisor, a Gestalt practitioner, and an entrepreneur extraordinaire. She's going to share with us her entrepreneurial journey as well as how you can get started as an international social work entrepreneur yourself. Welcome back to the channel, Rich Social Workers. I'm your host, Eva Ford, and today I'm so excited because on the channel we have got international social work superstar and my friend Marie Sparks. Now, Marie is a trained psychotherapist. She's trained in Gestalt therapy. She's also a supervisor of social workers here in Jamaica, and she spends part of her time in Jamaica and in the UK, and she will tell you more about that. In Jamaica, Marie is regarded as one of the top practitioners when it comes to helping people heal from issues of sexual abuse and violence, as well as trauma. So help me welcome our guest for today, Miss Marie Sparks.
Oh,
yay! Round of applause.
So nice.
Round of applause. That's actually very limited in terms of how I would want to introduce you and what I would want to say. So could you share with the people a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
All right, I'll share. Well, as you said, my name is Marie. I practice in residential social work in the United Kingdom up until 2004. I had a dream at that time to come to Jamaica and be in Jamaica and contribute in Jamaica in a way that was powerful to the impact of my clients. So I, followed my dream, and that's a dream that I'm sure is on another video, and got here and have found my niche in working with the healing of victims who have suffered or survivors who have suffered from sexual abuse, rape, exploitation, and trafficking. Along the way, my work has involved not only working with individual persons, but working with groups of persons who need to heal, families who need to heal from trauma, and also the agencies who respond to those clients. So the police, social workers, guidance counselors, doctors, nursing associations, those persons who first respond to the victim or the survivor of sexual abuse. I've found that I've done a lot of work with them based on my clients' feedback and based on the knowledge and body of training that I've done in the UK to help ameliorate the situation with sexual abuse victims. So that's a bit about me in terms of the work.
Now, when I met you, that was not the focus of your work. And I think it would be great to talk about your evolution as an entrepreneur in this space.
Okay. Well, you're quite right. The focus of my work when you met me was providing spaces, providing opportunities for young men from the UK to have an educational experience in the Caribbean. That seems a far cry from the current work. However, that came about from me working in residential communities and homes in the UK and realizing that young black men really needed an opportunity to make the journey across adolescence in a positive way with as much support as possible. And in terms of our communities, black communities in the UK, we don't have many options for our black young men to actually flourish and succeed. Things are stacked against them. So offering them that opportunity of coming to Jamaica and seeing people like themselves in positions of power, leading roles such as, all of the systems in the Caribbean have black male leaders, and that's a really, really big thing that you can't purchase for young black men in the UK. So in doing that, in preparation for providing that service, which I did with my team for quite a few years, maybe 4 years before the 2008 crash, financial crash. We done a lot of preparation on how best to take care of our residential clients, because they would be staying with us residentially, and training to protect young people was something that I know and do well. And so I trained teams that were going to be working with me and invited in fact, the principals of the schools where the children were going to reside to be at the training to get to know who we were as a team, as a company. And in doing so, they experienced the training around protecting young people from sexual abuse, managing that situation. And so I became a go-to person for principals initially when they encountered issues of sexual abuse at school. And I would advise them as to how best to deal with those issues and how to utilize services that already exist in Jamaica, such as the then Child Development Agency, and practitioners who operated in their local areas, to engage with them to get the best outcomes of those difficult situations within schools. When the worldwide crash happened, it became difficult for families to send one child to Jamaica to have a Caribbean educational experience, because the population that we had enlisted in private schools here in Jamaica. So it became difficult. So more of the work that we done training around in order to protect those young people was something that we started to deliver that training within Jamaica. And the training that was called upon the most was the work around sexual abuse. And I felt very comfortable with that work because I'd done a lot of that work in the UK. And really enjoy it. It's a privilege to be on a journey when somebody's really in need and they trust you with some of the most difficult things about the trauma that they've experienced, the intimacy that they have to reveal to you to actually get to the truth of the issue, and then be able to journey along with them to that position of healing. And for me, what I've managed to find is I've managed to find a medium in or a formula where I work with my clients to the point where they're flourishing.
So thank you for explaining that. And actually, I was reminded of that transition, how you were able to make that transition from working with adolescent boys into the work that you're doing now through what you've just shared. And I think one of the things that a lot of the subscribers to this channel will want to know is, how did you even get to want to do international social work, and how do you make that transition? I know you said earlier that you had a dream, and a lot of people ask me as well, they want to come to Jamaica or they want to work internationally, and there's a lot of ways to work internationally. International social work can look like a lot of different things. So I don't know if you're able to share what your journey into social work. Well, but you made the dream a reality.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you would want to share what that journey looked like for you, or what you would have done differently if you wanted to do that journey again. But if you can share with the audience something that will give them some insight into how to transition into international social work, or social work outside of where they're locally doing it now on an international basis, if they were going to do it for themselves. You have the dream, but then how do you actually make the transition?
Okay, so how you make the transition is stop saying that it's going to happen or you want it to happen, but actually this is what's happening and now I need to put things in place. So I find for myself that often I'm dreaming of things and I talk about it with that language. But when you change the language to say, hey, I am going to be in Jamaica in 6 months.
Yeah.
What is it I'm going to do to sustain my life? How am I going to do that? How am I going to take the best of what I have here, what I've learned here, my skills here for generating income? How am I going to take that and put it in place in this new environment? That begins to be the doing.
I like that. So it's really changing your inner dialogue from wouldn't this be nice to I'm doing this. And if I'm doing this, then what are the things I need to put in place?
Right.
Ah.
If I'm doing this. So it's just like I say to people ask me this question all the time. Other practitioners who I meet face to face, they will ask me the question, and I said, look, if you're leaving Mandeville
in Jamaica, Mandeville is a town in Jamaica.
Yeah, where we are, our town, and you're going to Kingston,
which is the capital of Jamaica,
right?
Not near to Mandeville, about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're leaving and you're going, what do you need to do to go? It's simple. We do this every week. Some of us do this every day. What do you need to do to go? If you're going to extend that journey and you were going to leave Mandeville to go to the UK, what would you need to go? And if when you go there, you're going to go to work, how are you going to do that? How are you going to go to work? What are the things that you're going to need to do? Are you going to find an employer? Are you going to start applying for jobs? Are you going to use some kind of entrepreneurial way of packaging your work and meet your client base in Jamaica? How are you going to know that your client base is there? You have to get down, be there on the ground, find the venues that you're going to be working in, if it's your own place. Talk to, prospective employers about what, whether your skills that you currently have are useful within this new context. You have to do that. And then, people start to think about you as a resource.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I think it starts with what you said or alluded to just now, a skills assessment for yourself. What do I have to offer? A lot of people come to me, I don't know if they come to you, but they ask what's available there. And I say, well, what skills do you have? What do you have to offer? Because there's a lot that's available in a lot of places. But when you assess your skills and you say, okay, this is what I have to offer, this is my niche, or this is my passion, or this is what I'd like to learn more about, and this is the area where I'd like to grow and develop, then you can really get into that area that you want. Do you find the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I do find that. I find, so, me coming to Jamaica, and I think you were on one of the journeys with me when I headed up to Kingston and, knocked on the door of the then CDA. And
that's the Child Development Agency.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, Eva, I need to speak to the directors of the Child Development Agency. And that's not an easy thing in Jamaica because our leaders are very well insulated and protected. Yet I found that I needed to share with them my vision on healing, share with them my vision on managing the dynamics of sexual abuse at that time. So to help them, I felt like I have something that can assist in this area. And because I was so persistent and kept knocking at the door and was willing to wait, I got through the door and I began, that was one of the conversations that I had with persons who were going to be prospectively my colleagues, and business partners in some senses, because when you're booked for consultancy from a government agency, you're working together.
Okay. I thank you for that, but I happen to have some insight into some other components of your journey, because I don't want people to think that, the only way that I can make money or be an entrepreneur in another country is to get in good with the government contractors, because you were actually doing some things on your own.
Oh, absolutely.
Before you even knocked on those doors.
Absolutely.
Check out part 2 of our interview with Marie, where she shares with us what it means to her to live a truly rich life.